Alex had always loved the quiet solitude of the old Victorian, but tonight the silence felt heavy, oppressive. Rain lashed against the windows, a rhythmic percussion against the glass. He was engrossed in a book, a mug of cold tea forgotten beside him when it started. A faint, irregular thump, scrape, thump from beneath the floorboards. The basement. He frowned, dismissing it. Old houses settled, pipes groaned, branches scraped. It was nothing, just the house breathing. He adjusted his glasses, tried to refocus on the words, but the faint rhythm seemed to have burrowed into the periphery of his hearing, a subtle, unsettling counterpoint to the storm outside. The next evening, the sounds were less ambiguous. Alex was in the kitchen, preparing a late dinner, when a distinct drag, thump, drag, echoed up through the floor. It wasn't the rhythmic settling of wood or the moan of old pipes. This was deliberate, heavy. He froze, knife hovering over a chopping board. His heart gave an unwelcome lurch. He tried to tell himself it was just the wind rattling something, or perhaps a large rat, but the sounds had a certain purpose. He walked to the kitchen door, which led to a small utility area where the basement entrance was. He listened intently, holding his breath. Then a low guttural groan vibrated through the floorboards directly beneath his feet. Alex spent a restless night, convinced he heard faint movements below. But with dawn, the noises had ceased entirely. A new terrifying silence had settled, far worse than the sounds themselves. The absence of the noise screamed louder than any thump or groan. It felt like a predator holding its breath, waiting. He tried to work, but his focus was shattered. Every creak of the house, every gust of wind made him jump. By late afternoon, the oppressive quiet became unbearable. He had to know. He couldn't live with this gnawing uncertainty, this feeling of something lurking. His hand trembled as he reached for the large brass key hanging on a hook beside the basement door. The basement door was a heavy slab of dark, aged wood, its paint peeling like ancient skin. Cold seeped from its edges. Alex's breath hitched in his throat. He inserted the key, the metallic scrape, echoing unnaturally loud in the profound silence. The lock turned with a rusty groan, a sound that seemed to awaken something beyond the door. He placed his hand on the cold doorknob, hesitating. A faint, almost imperceptible smell drifted from beneath, damp earth dust and something else, something acrid and strangely sweet, like old blood mixed with rot. His heart pounded, a frantic drum against his ribs. Every fiber of his being screamed at him to stop, to turn back, but a morbid curiosity, mingled with terror, held him captive. He pushed the door open, revealing a precipitous descent into absolute blackness. The air that rushed out was cold, stagnant and laden with the unidentifiable stench. His phone flashlight, a paltry beam against the void, cut a weak path down the rickety wooden stairs. Each step creaked ominously under his weight, a soundtrack to his descent into dread. The darkness swallowed the light, making the space feel vast and bottomless. Then a new sound, distinct from the house's groans. A soft, wet squelch. It seemed to come from the very bottom of the stairs, directly ahead. He paused, flashlight beam trembling, trying to pierce the gloom, trying to rationalize. Water? No, it was too organic. Alex took another hesitant step, his foot landing with a sickening crunch on something brittle. His flashlight beam finally reached the floor. It wasn't water. It was a dark, glistening film, spread across the dirt floor, reflecting the weak light like obsidian, and embedded within it broken fragments of bone. Small, sharp, irregular, rodent bones? No, these were too large, too distinct. As his light swept further, it landed on a makeshift crude cage fashioned from old planks and rusty wire, tucked into a corner. Inside, barely visible, was a mound of matted, dark hair, twitching faintly. A low, ragged whimper escaped from within. It wasn't an animal. It was a terrible, starving thing, desperately trying to hide, and Alex knew with a certainty that chilled him to his core that he was no longer alone in this house. He wasn't the hunter, he was the discovery.